And good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Fireside Chat. We are so happy that you could join us tonight. My name is Sam Huffman, and I'm the Social Media Marketing Manager for the STEPP Program. And Ashley, I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Ashley Cooper, and I am the Transition Specialist for the STEPP Program.
And again, welcome everyone to our Fireside Chat. If you've heard about these before, that's great. And we want you to go ahead and know that every single Fireside Chat that we do is unique and different. So we'll be covering new topics in this Fireside Chat. And then the next Fireside Chat that we'll have, I believe there's one in March and April and May. They'll also cover different topics. We also want to remind you that a Fireside Chat also allows you, the viewer, to ask questions. So at any point, if you have questions about either ECU or the STEP program, you can leave them in the comments, and then we'll stop and Ashley will answer them live for you. So no question is too big or too small, so we welcome questions of all kinds. Ashley, I'll go ahead and let the slides begin if you're good with that.
All right, let's go. All right, so like I said, I'm Ashley Cooper. I'm the Transition Specialist for the STEP Program. We're going to first start by talking about our program staff for the program. So we are a small program staff. We have 3 people. So we have our director, Mr. Adam Denny. He's in charge of the overall vision and leadership of the program. So he provides us with guidance and direction for the students and the staff, and he oversees our research overlay. He collaborates with university partners, so our internal partners as well as our external partners. And he's also there to help with the essentials to developing and sustaining the essentials to the STEP program. And then myself, as the transition specialist, I am there to support the students through the recruitment process through the application. So I help students help with the application process, and then I'll also help with the recruiting. So you may see me out recruiting in terms of at college fairs and visiting different high schools around Pitt County. So one unique thing about my job is that I support students during their high school senior year with a transition curriculum. So if you're admitted into the STEP program, you apply during your junior year of high school. And if you're accepted during your senior year, you work with me on a transition curriculum that helps you get acclimated to the differences between high school and college, but also thinking about that matriculation or coming into East Carolina University. So I'm helping support that process as well. And I'm also the primary contact for prospective students and families. So if you're interested in the STEP program, I'm the person you contact. And then we also have Dr. Danielle Dietz. She is our instructional specialist for the program. So she is there to provide the ongoing daily support to currently enrolled students. So she helps them during the academic year. She also teaches our STEP program curriculum, which we call EDUC. It's a part of the education coursework here at the university. And it's 3 classes that students have to take if they're involved with the program. And during these classes, she focuses on equipping students with skills and strategies in terms of helping them to be successful here at the university setting. So some of those things could include helping with time management, organization, study skills, learning strategies, and she also connects students to different campus resources. She also monitors the daily progression of students. She supervises study hall. So students in the STEP program, during that first year, they're required to do 15 hours of study hall. It's combined with the class that she teaches. So Dr. Dietz teaches that STEP curriculum, and during that first year, students are required to take that class, which means they have to do the 15 hours of study hall, take her class, also meet with a mentor at least 1 time a week for an hour. And I say at least, meaning that the student can meet with their mentor more than 1 time. And she's also in charge of our program tutors. So she trains and supervises the study hall, and students have access to tutors during that time. And the STEP program hires a tutor for science, a tutor for English writing, and a math tutor. And then sometimes we may go beyond the scope of those 3 things to hire additional tutors. but we also partner with our Pirate Academic Success Center, who has tutoring there as well. So the STEP program is a part of Student Academic Success Services here at the university. And so we are there for those comprehensive academic supports. Which takes us into our next slide, what's STEP? And this is a question I get very often when I'm traveling around to different high school fairs, because they see STEP program written on my tablecloth and they're like, what is STEP? So the STEP program stands for Supporting Transition and Education Through Planning and Partnership. So one of the key things that the STEP program does is we provide comprehensive academic support for students with learning disabilities at East Carolina University. So students must have a documented diagnosis of a specific learning disability in order to participate in the STEP program. And this could include, but not limited to, having a reading disorder, dyslexia, having a disorder of written expression, dysgraphia, or a math disorder, dyscalculia. So the students must have that documented specific learning disability and be eligible for accommodations through our ECU disability support services. So you may hear me refer to that as DSS later on in the program, and I'm referring to disability support services. And I'll try to make sure I stay clear of all the acronyms so that it's not as confusing for anyone that's just joining us.
And Ashley, before we head to our next slide, I just want to mention real quick, if you're just joining on, because I see some new numbers coming in, you can drop your questions in the comments field and we'll answer them live. We are here to help you during this fireside chat as we explore some new things and introduce you to parts of both STEP and ECU. Ashley, I'll let you continue.
Okay, no problem. Which, if you're thinking applying to the STEP program, we have a new tool that I want to tell you guys about. So this website tool is actually on our website. So if you visit step.ecu.edu and go to our apply page, so you would click our apply button here, and you'll have to scroll down just a little bit. We have our new website tool where you can figure out when is it time for you to actually apply to the STEP program. So if you're just joining us, you may have noticed that I mentioned earlier that students apply to our program during their junior year of high school. And that can be a little confusing. So we've kind of made it a little more explicit for students. So when you're going to this website tool, you'll answer this question: when are you graduating from high school? And you'll click this link and it'll give you a drop-down menu where you can select the year. And so we do have some year options up there all the way up to 2028. So say, for instance, you select the year 2024. It says, thank you for your interest, but the application window has closed. However, I'll encourage you to reach out to me and I can provide you with other academic resources here at the university. Even though our application has closed for 2024, we are a part of the Student Academic Success Services here at the university, and I can point you to some other academic resources that we have here at the university to help you as you transition into East Carolina. But if you are a current junior, so that means you're graduating during 2025, you are eligible to apply for the program right now. So our application opened on December the 19th and it closes on May 15th of 2024. So in order to apply for the program, you must be a high school junior, meet the eligibility requirements of having a specific learning disability, and also meet the minimum course requirements of East Carolina University. And I know many of you are like, what are minimum course requirements? What is she talking about? So if you go onto the East Carolina Admissions website, they have a list of required high school courses that you must complete. And so if you look at that list, you can determine which courses that you need in order to make sure you're able to apply to the STEP program. So let's take us right into campus living. So one of the requirements of a first-year student attending East Carolina is that they are required to stay on campus. And many of the students in the STEP program, we reserve a space on campus for those students to stay. And we typically reserve a space on campus on the west end of campus. So I'll mention a couple of things here in terms of we're reserving a space on the west end of campus. And then another thing to note about the STEP program, that students in the STEP program are living with their cohort in the same dorm, but not staying with other STEP students in the program. So during that first year, I'll say that. So if during upperclassmen, you could have the possibility to stay with another STEP student as an upperclassman, but during that first year, you're not going to room with another STEP student, but you'll live in the same dorm in the west end of campus, which have some great perks. So it's close to our student recreation center and our main campus student center. And one thing I will note about the campus here at the university, we have a lot of great outdoor spaces where students are able to socialize and meet with all of their friends outside. And then one really cool thing is that we are making it easy for you to access our Learning Cove. And that's where the STEP Program's office is located. So it's only a short walk away to get to the Learning Cove, and it's only a short walk away to get to most of your classes. And then there are two convenient dining options that are on campus for students. Typically, if you're living in the west end of campus, you're probably going to visit the West End Dining Hall. But there are other dining halls and other places on campus. Like we have two dining halls. We have a Chick-fil-A. We have a Pirate Market where they have some grab and go options, and it's open late night. So if you want to stop by and get some snack during the nighttime, you're able to do that. They have a Subway on campus. We have a Starbucks. So if you're interested in coffee or frappuccinos and all of the different beverages there at the Starbucks, you can dine in that. And then we also have a Einstein's Bagels and so much more. Sam, let's go ahead and show them a video of all the dining options we have at East Carolina.
Absolutely.
All right. So now that we've seen the dining options on campus, I will point out that we do have those two dining halls on campus. So we have the West End Dining and Todd Hall, and students that are living on campus must have a meal plan, and that meal plan gives them unlimited access to both dining halls. So typically, if you're living on the West End, you probably will visit that dining hall more often. But students have the ability to choose from a variety of meal plans that meets their budget. And one thing to note about our dining hall is that the food gets cooked right in front of you. So there are a lot of stations that you can visit and get a lot of different variety of options. So they have those stoves where they cook the pizzas, and they just cook a lot of those food options in front of you. So you kind of get this in-person exhibition of food being cooked, and it's fresh, and you're able to get those very high nutrition aspects to your dining options. And another cool thing to note about ECU is that we partnered and we have cool robots that you can order food from and get it delivered to different places on campus. So say, for instance, that you're studying in Jordan Library and you're like, oh man, I don't have time to take a break and go pick up this food. You can get that food delivered to you, and that's pretty awesome. So let's take a look at the ECU's robots and the Starship robots as they navigate campus and how you actually interact with them.
Those seem like some really cool robots. Ashley, I must say, and I want to remind anyone that's just joining, you can drop your questions in the comments We're here to answer them. Many of our fireside chats will have people ask all sorts of questions, whether it's about the application or something about the university, maybe financial questions. We're here to answer them. If you're watching this later, you can also still comment your question, and we'll be able to follow up with you privately. So again, if you're rewatching this later, you can still ask your questions, drop them in the comments, and we can get back with you later. Ashley, I'll go ahead and proceed to the next slide. I don't know about you, but I love those robots.
Robots are really cool, and it saves you quite a bit of time. So if you are interested in seeing the robots in person, I would suggest you visit ECU and the STEPP program. So for students that are thinking about coming into the STEPP program, I will say you have to go in and book a tour with us through our website. Or if you can't make any of the dates that we have on our website, you can always schedule a tour with me via email or by giving me a call. But we offer a different varieties of tours. So we have our in-person tour. We have one coming up on March 22nd, and then we have a virtual option that just happened yesterday, but we have one coming up on March 28th. So if students are interested in the STEP program, or if you're coming from out of state and you're not sure if you can visit us in person, we do have that virtual option for students. And we host about one of these events per month. So one in-person event and then one virtual event. And then if you are having any difficulty visiting the STEP program during our scheduled times, I again suggest that you reach out to me so we can find a more appropriate time. And then the other thing is that you visit ECU's website to book a tour there as well. So if once you're on campus and you're like, oh, Ashley, I booked the tour for March the 1st. I'll be there like this week. Go ahead and reach out to me and let me know so I can schedule some time to meet with you during that time. So typically our open house events in person are on Fridays, and I try to vary those times so you're able to be flexible in terms of either doing a tour in the morning with ECU and visiting the STEP program in the afternoon, or doing a tour with STEP in the morning and visiting, doing an ECU tour in the afternoon. So you have that capability. All right, so our applications are now open. So if you're a high school junior, meaning that you're graduating in 2025, I encourage you to apply to the program if you have a specific learning disability and meet the minimum course requirements of ECU. So coming in to meet that post-secondary success. So you are graduating by the spring of 2025. And then, so we do have some things on our websites to prepare to apply. So if you're wondering, like, what are some things I can get ready to do to make sure I'm on the application timeline? So making sure you're having your current psychoeducational evaluation that is current in terms of meeting the requirements of disability support services. Also, making sure you're meeting the minimum course requirements of ECU. So visiting the ECU admissions required high school courses. And then review and analyze our essay prompts. So as a part of the STEP program, students have to submit their drafts of their essays and then their final versions of their essays. And then if you have any questions in regards to our actual application process or what you have to submit, please reach out to me with those questions so I'm able to help you with that process. So for the STEP program, typically students apply during their junior year of high school. We accept 10 students per fall semester. And then those students are applying directly to the STEP program. So we have a separate admissions process from the university. So we have a separate application process that takes place before the regular admissions process here at ECU. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about some timelines and some different resources in terms of our application. So for our application workshop, so if you've already started your application with the STEP program, or if you're thinking about starting an application and you're like, I still have some questions about what this process could look like, you can schedule some time to meet with me for an application workshop. And this is a time where you can drop in and you can ask your questions about your application. You can say, hey, I'm having trouble getting back into my application. What can I do? What are some supports that you can help me with in terms of making sure I get my application in on time? So I'm there as a support. If you can't make those application workshops, make sure you do reach out to me and let me know, like, hey, all those scheduled times I'm in class, or all these scheduled times I'm not able to make, but here I have some availability on this date. Let me know so I can schedule that time with you to sit down to have a session where you can get help with the application and ask any questions that you may have. One question that came up today is the deadline for the STEP program. And students, the deadline for the STEP program is May 15th of 2024. So if you're wondering, how long do I have until I have to complete this application? You have until May 15th of 2024 to get that in. The other thing to note, on the next slide, we have some supports to help you with the application process. So say, for instance, it's the weekend, you're like, oh my gosh, I emailed Ms. Cooper, I called her, she didn't answer the phone. Well, you have some supports out there to help you with the process. We have an application checklist and an application guide. So our checklist is a one-sheeter. It gives you a complete overview of what to expect from the application, and it's also a checklist. So you're able to check off what you've already completed. But you're also able to record down your return codes for the application. So say, for instance, you go into the application and you're like, oh man, I didn't know I needed my transcript. I want to save this part of the application and come back to it later. Once you save the application, it'll give you a return code for the different form. And at the bottom of the application checklist, you're able to type in, or if you print out this material, you're able to write down that return code so that you are able to go back to the different parts of the application. But say, for instance, you're like, oh my gosh, I just exited out and I didn't write down that return code. You can always contact me so I can supply you with that information so you're able to get back into your application. So any troubles that you have with the application, please reach out to me, and it's a quick fix most of the time, and I'm able to do that by phone or by email. And then in terms of the application guide is very, very comprehensive. It's 19 pages worth of information. However, we have uploaded it to our website to make it more accessible. So you can we have some quick links that you can click to go to specific sections to answer your questions. So say, for instance, I'm not available and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I need for my transcript, and my guidance counselor is staring right here at my face right now. I need to tell her what I need. You're able to go into the application guide and get that information, so you're able to send it to her as well. And it also has links to our application upload material. So if you need to upload additional materials, or if you have a guidance counselor or someone that's uploading materials on your behalf, there's a link there that you can provide them to upload those materials. And then it also has a link to a recommendation link. So students that are applying to the program must get 2 recommendations from core academic classes. And so you would have to send that link to whoever's going to do that recommendation on your behalf, and making sure they get a copy of that link so they can get that form in. In terms of the application forms that you need to submit, we have several forms. Once you complete your applicant profile, it'll send you a link to all of the forms. And then also I send out additional application updates while you're in progress with your application. That shocked a couple of people. Just so you know, once you start the application, I can see you in real time, and I also can give you status updates in real time as well. On the application, you have to submit your high school transcript, your ACT and SAT scores, documentation of accommodations of the SAT and ACT, your essay. So you have to submit the draft of your essay and your final essay. You have to submit 2 recommendations, and you have to submit either your IEP or 504 or your high school disability accommodation. So in terms of that documentation, could be possibly an IEP or 504, but if your school has an accommodation plan, that will count as well. And then the most important thing is their psychoeducational evaluation with that learning disabilities diagnosis. And I think I've given a complete overview of all the application materials and in regards to the checklist and guide. So please drop in some questions, guys. I would love to answer any questions that you have about the application. I know I have hit you with a lot of information all at once, and I'm pretty sure someone out there probably has a question about something I've said so far in regards to the application.
Probably so. Again, you can just drop your questions just right in the comments, and we can answer them live. Ashley, one thing though, this is a question we've gotten on multiple fireside chats, and someone may ask it, is about the SAT and ACT. I know this down while you were talking. Um, some universities don't require that you submit the SAT or ACT. Is STEP requiring that? Is the university requiring that?
Yes, that is a really great question. For your STEP application, we always say the SAT and ACT is required, and here's why. Just in case during that next academic school year, so right now we're ahead of the game in terms of students applying to any college or university. So if you're applying during junior year, we're ahead of the game. So I can't tell you whether or not East Carolina University will have waived the ACT or SAT by 2025. So we are considering, if they don't waive it, you will be already prepared to submit your ACT and SAT scores. So we're encouraging all students that are applying to the STEP program to go ahead and take those tests. So it gives you a leg up in two ways. It gives you a leg up just in case the university decides to require the SAT and ACT, and you're already accepted in the program. You don't have to go through the stress of like, oh my gosh, now I have to take the SAT and ACT before I can get into the university. So you'll have the leg up there. And then you also have a leg up if you don't get into the STEP program, or if you are thinking about applying to additional programs and they require the SAT and ACT, then you've already gotten that requirement done. So that's the reason why we require it, and we encourage students to actually take the SAT and ACT. Now, I know I have someone out there saying on the application guide, it says that I don't have to have the SAT and ACT done yet. Yes, that is true. So on our STEP application, if you, during that initial process, if you have not taken the SAT or ACT, there won't be a penalty against you. However, if later on down in the timeline, it does become a requirement of East Carolina University, that's something that you would have done, you need to have done. So I always encourage students to go ahead and do that. And that's one thing checked off your list if it comes up later.
Thank you, Ashley, for sharing that and answering that question. I know a lot of people usually have that question. We have just about 1 more minute left, so if anyone does have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. Again, if you're rewatching this later, you can also still comment your question, and we can follow up with you with a private message to answer that question. Ashley, I'll kind of let you things wrap up. I'll still interrupt you if we do get a question. I'm monitoring that right now.
Okay, no problem. So what I will say is that if you're interested in the STEP program and you're graduating in 2025, please reach out to me in terms of the application process so I can help support you with that process. If you are a student that's graduating 2024 and you're like, I was really thinking about coming to East Carolina University, I heard of the STEP program, I think it's a great academic support that will help me, and I missed the deadline, go ahead and reach out to me so I can provide you with some resources from our Student Academic Success Services. So I'm there as a support to support students with learning disabilities to achieve access to a college education. So whether or not you're coming to East Carolina University, I want to be a resource for you guys. And if you are coming to East Carolina University and you're thinking about the STEP program, go ahead and reach out to me.
Great. Thank you so much, Ashley, for your all your knowledge that you have of STEP and the ECU. I'm sure people appreciate it. We will be having another fireside chat coming up. I believe it's in late March off the top of my head, and another one in April and in early May. So there are still more fireside chats to come. And again, every single fireside chat, it covers a new topic. We want to make sure that you are gaining as much knowledge as possible during your time while you're thinking about applying to the STEP program, or you're currently working on your application. Again, we always recommend, if you do have questions, please reach out to us, reach out to Ashley. All that contact information can be found on our website if you need it, but we are here to help you. Otherwise, I will thank everyone again for joining us for our fireside chat. Greatly appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week, and go Pirates.